Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna do a little Q&A. We have some really amazing questions to go over. It kind of covers a wide variety of everything from technicals of photography to life. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about these. But let's jump in, and also just make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. I am trying to do these more. And would love to hear any questions that you guys have. So definitely comment below if I didn't get to any that you would love to hear. But let's jump in. To answer the question on what lens would I recommend to upgrade from a kit lens. So this lens right here, this is the Canon 28-70 2.0 lens. I use this thing literally 90% of the time. It is with me at every engagement session. It is with me at every wedding. I'm obsessed with this thing, and I genuinely don't know what I would do without it, and I don't know what I did without it before I got it. But if you were looking to upgrade, a kit lens, they're great, and I think they're great too, especially if you're getting started and just learning the basics of photography. But if you're starting to be in a professional way where you're charging clients and you're shooting weddings, I definitely would recommend upgrading. And it's just because there's so much that you can get out of having a good glass. Genuinely, your glass and your lens that you use is a big part of how your photos turn out. And honestly, putting a good glass on an average camera can transform your photos. And obviously taking good photos is more than just your equipment, but I will say there's just so much benefit to having a good lens, and the autofocus capabilities, the stabilization, the colors, the way it just I don't know, the sharpness of it, it can just be so well for you, especially in an industry where you're constantly having to adapt and change to lighting. So anyway, I have loved this one because one, the aperture and f-stop, it's at a 2, which is great because it is really helpful for low light situations. Especially as you're getting into receptions or shooting into the sunset, whatever it is, because you're able to go to a 2.0, which is amazing. Sometimes kit lenses, you are stuck at a 4.0 or even higher, which can just limit you. So if you're ready to I know this is a big investment. If you're ready to do it, it is so worth it. I know it's expensive, but I am obsessed with this thing. The only thing you have to get used to is the weight. I know I saw some people on Instagram where someone said they had a wrist problem from it, but if you work out, you will be fine. I think the first wedding I did shoot with it, it was hard. I was oh my god, my hands hurt so bad, but I've gotten so used to it now. I don't ever have that problem anymore. So I feel as long as you work out and you feel you're strong enough, this thing will be totally fine for you. However, if you're not ready to fully invest in this, there is the 24-70, which is a great option too. I will say between shooting on both of these, the autofocus capabilities, I don't know what about it is. This thing focuses so much faster. I don't know why, but it does. I've just had so much, what am I trying to say? I've had so much ease with this thing, just autofocusing. But like I said, I totally recommend a zoom lens. I feel I've even seen people in the industry go from prime lenses to zoom lenses because they are so versatile. And I don't know, I feel like there's a stigma sometimes behind using a zoom lens, but gosh, I don't know why, because they're amazing. So yeah, I would just recommend this guy out of anything. Second question is, where's your holster from? So this is my holster that I just got. It is the Spider holster, and it's pretty much, I'll kind of show you. It's a belt that goes like this. If you missed it, definitely go look at my Instagram and TikTok, because I did a whole review about it, and everything is really on there. I may even be able to drop the link below. I'll try to remember to do that. But I do love this thing. It's been a game changer because I was having such a hard time, just getting a good setup for weddings. I'll be honest with you, I really don't think there's a really great setup for weddings because it's just freaking chaotic, and I don't think there's any way to comfortably hold 3-4 cameras, however many you shoot with. It's just not comfortable, and that's okay. You just have to accept that. But this thing really did make a difference. I did not have any back pain or shoulder pain because I was having so much pain in my traps and my shoulders. And I'm I work out, right? I feel I should not be this sore, but wedding days really like made my shoulders so sore. So in order to take some of the weight off of my shoulders, this belt really did help because you can just like strap them in like on your sides, and it was great. I definitely recommend it if you're looking for something. I definitely love it. I did drop my camera, but it wasn't the holster's fault. There's like a latch that you can lock on it, and I just forgot to latch it and like moved and it fell. So definitely lock it if you're not like, just walking around, and being very careful. So love it. Spider holster, check them out. Definitely recommend them. Someone asked, how is your faith journey going? This is a good question, and honestly, like, I genuinely like don't really know how to answer this because I don't know. I feel like I don't get asked about it a lot to where I explain it, but I'll do my best. So, like I said, I think it's always a journey, and like there's so much I've learned over the years. Like I grew up Christian, so I've always like been a part of the Christian faith, but obviously over the years my view of it has, shifted and changed, but in good ways. I used to think that like Christianity was based on like how good I was and being a good person and like doing all the right things. And then, I kind of was like, okay, I don't know if this is really about, if that's really all it is about. And then started to learn it was more about like a relationship with Jesus and, the faith, like having just faith, which I think is a lot different than just trying to do good works. So anyway, it has been a journey, and thankfully I have Micah, which he's here beside me. So feel free to butt in whatever you want. But I know. I feel like though with him and like obviously through our marriage, like my faith has grown more over these past few years. And I think being a business owner and just like stepping out and like not doing what I literally went to school for definitely took a lot of faith that I may not have like realized in the moment, because I did have Micah kind of there pushing me to do it. Which I definitely think God used him in my life to like help me get to where I am today. Like genuinely wouldn't be here without him. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is a journey. I definitely think there are times, and personally there's times where I can, when things are going good, it's easy to kind of forget and not forget about God, but like kind of just like not need him, even though we always need his grace and we always need his love. And so I think that's what I'm trying to work on now, is like even when things are good, or even when I feel in a good place, I still need him, and I still need to come to him, and I still need to be filled by him, and because like, how many years ago was it, babe? Like 2 years ago? 2 years ago or whatever, I was struggling with anxiety and like panic attacks in a way that I never ever in my entire life like dealt with. And when that happened, it really made me be like, okay, like me and God got real tight because I was real desperate and like really just in a place of like, oh my God, like what is going on? And it shouldn't take like moments like that to need him, but moments like that do make you realize like how much you do need God. And so that was kind of like a turning point. And like, again, Micah was there and like really kind of helped me, learn more about God and learn more how important his word is. So now it's just more so like, again, my routine in the mornings have been really helpful because, I do make sure as much as possible to spend like time with him. And, I feel like I try more to spend time with him all throughout the day and not just like, oh, okay, yay, I spent time with him, I'm good. Because sometimes that's easy to do and just kind of check it off your list. But I will say, just like making sure there's time where I'm actually like praying, actually like reading, putting his word into my mind, I think is really important. But then also just like going to him throughout the day and throughout just your whole journey in life is like so important. Overall, faith journey is going great. It's always going to be a journey, and I'm obviously very excited to keep learning and seeing where God takes me, and just really, have God use me in this business. And just I keep like something I've been like writing down and journaling about is just like to be used and to, be seen just through me and through my spirit. And so that is the goal. But if you guys do want to talk more about it, like please feel free to like message me or comment or DM me. Like we're always down to talk about our faith and just however we can help, because I know it can be hard and confusing out here in this world. But going on to the next question. So someone asked, so just kind of more, not really asked, but just more of just kind of like a little chat is in my second year of photography, first year was a huge success. This year is slow and I'm just getting discouraged. So there's a lot to go into this. Is one, business is going to have its ups and downs, right? And it's okay to have ups and downs. But I think also this year is a little different for everyone. And it's not like I've actually seen on TikTok and people just like, and even just talking to people, like this year has been different. And I think a lot of it is just based on like what's kind of going on in our country and the economy in itself. Like, if you think about it, like people have trouble like getting groceries, buying houses, like gas prices are crazy. Like it's just crazy for everyone. And so obviously if you think about it, like it affects people like us because some people just can't afford photography, or some people can't afford to have a wedding right now, or some people just like are pushing off their weddings again because they're like, well, I just need to wait until 2026. And so I think it's just one of those years too where it's just a little slower for every single person. Like you're not the only person, so like don't feel like it's just you. But also know like there are going to be times in your business where things are slow. And I had a friend who like came to me and kind of said the same thing and was like, I'm not getting as many inquiries, like it just feels slower. But sometimes I think that's a good thing because it means you're growing and it means you're hitting a new level, right? Like you don't want to be in a place where you're getting all of your inquiries and you're saying yes and you're booking every single one of them, because that just means you're kind of staying at a like plateau, I guess. And you're not really pushing yourself to get to a new level. So I would just kind of look at it and maybe take this time to kind of assess, like maybe look back on like where it is that's slowed down. Is it your inquiries? Is it, people getting on a call with you? Is it people like getting on a call with you but maybe not booking? And maybe see where there's like something missing in that process. Could it be that you're not marketing well, or you're not showing yourself enough, you're not showing your work enough? Could it be that there's somewhere that you're not providing enough value to get clients to book? There's always ways that we can improve. There's always little specks and spots where you can add value to elevate your experience and get people to book with you. So yeah, I don't know, I would just take it as like an assessment, take it as a time to see where you can improve in your business, but also know that you're not alone. And to feel discouraged, like it is normal to feel that way, but like also know like this is a good thing. And just if you can see it as a way as like, oh, this is going to be good for me to learn from maybe some mistakes that I'm making, because then it'll just take your business to the next level. Next question is, do you use presets on your photos? I sure do. And they're mine. I've made GM presets. So they actually are for sale. We have 3 packs out. They're linked in the description below if you want to check them out. They are the everyday packs and the luxe pack. And they're great. If you watched my last vlog, I talked a little bit about presets, and like, I love presets and I think presets are great and amazing. And they helped me so much when I got started, because you open up Lightroom and you're like, what the heck? Like they're so like, you could endlessly edit a photo and you could drive yourself mad by how many different ways you could edit a photo. And like, sometimes I'm always like, it sucks. I wish you could like edit a photo a million different ways, but it like be the one photo. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but there are so many times where I'm editing and I'm like, I like this edit, but I like that edit. And it is really hard to kind of like choose one. But I will say presets helped me learn a lot just by, I bought a few in the past, and like they helped me so much because I would kind of study the way that, the light curves or the tone curves or the way they adjusted certain sliders to kind of get certain looks. And then the more I learned, the more I kind of started realizing like, okay, I like the way skin looks in this. I like the way the greens look here. I like the tones and the shadows here. I like the tone of the highlights and the darks and the shadows. And so, it did kind of help me then evolve, I guess is what I'm saying, evolve into my own creation. And then now I'm able to kind of go into Lightroom and start from scratch and create presets that work really well for me. So yes, I do use them. They are my own. So my first ones that I made were the everyday packs, and those are a very subtle, a very just clean edit. I would say if you're looking for something and somewhere to start, Those are amazing packs to just be able to put on an image. They look great. They're very subtle. So then you could kind of start manipulating colors of greens or, whatever it is that you want based on that edit. It's just a great starting point, which is the whole point of why I made them. And then it kind of helped me evolve into the Lux pack as I just started to gain more knowledge or gain more confidence in my own style as a photographer, and just started looking at what I liked and what I wanted to achieve. So the Lux pack came along. It is a little bit more of a moody, more nostalgic vibe, but you still have those true to tone colors, because I just am a firm believer of true to tone, and just feel like the more I edit true to tone, the more I'm just like, okay, I love that. And every time I go back to those photos, I'm always like, okay, I'm so glad like I went true to tone on that, because you just can't go wrong. But I feel like you can still do true to tone with like a little bit of edginess and moodiness that gives you like the feeling that almost film gives you, which I'm very inspired by film as I've been shooting it more. So I'm currently working on a new pack that is a little bit more inspired by film, still true to tone. I'm not sure when it's going to come out, but eventually. And I don't know what I'm going to call it either. Right? Like, part of me feels like it should be like a Lux pack too, because it does resemble the first Lux pack, but it's just a little bit more fine-tuned, a little more fine-tuned, and I don't know. So stay tuned for that. But if you are looking for a new preset, they are linked below, and I love them. Another question is, someone asked, I have a Canon Rebel T6. What would be a good next step-up camera? I started on a Rebel T6, so I totally understand you. Honestly, the Rebel T6 was amazing. Like, I feel like if you have a Rebel T6, like, you're just on your way up, because I feel like everyone started at a Rebel T6 if you were a Canon shooter. So this is like it's not a tricky question, but I think it just depends on like what you do and like what type of photography you're doing. If you are like not wanting to spend a ton of money but you still want a good camera, like I would definitely recommend going to the Canon 5D Mark IV. That was my step up from the Rebel, and it's amazing. Like, how much do they go for now? Could you look that up, Micah?
With
the Canon 5D Mark IV. Micah's about to look it up, because obviously now that mirrorless is kind of the new thing. I know the DSLRs are a little bit cheaper. So
honestly, they still going for $2,300.
Oh, okay. So they're still $2,300. How much is the Canon R6?
Canon R6 is right at 3,000.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I guess a difference between $700 or so, which is, I mean, a lot. So it just depends. Like, if you're not shooting like weddings all the time.
Actually, Canon R6 is 2,300 right now in the Best Buy. My suggestion, like straight from the Rebel, like I would go mirrorless. I would go the R10 or the R7.
Okay, those are cheaper.
That would be around kind of like a Rebel, but it's like the mirrorless version of it, like an upgraded version of it.
Oh, okay, like an upgraded Rebel version.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's good to know. I've never shot on those, so I don't have like personal experience with them. But like I said, I think you kind of have to look at it as like, okay, so say you had like an old iPhone, right? Like if you had like a 12 or something, you kind of know, like, obviously Apple continues to make their phones better. And it's almost like, okay, is it worth it to just go ahead and like, I haven't upgraded in a while. Should I just upgrade to like the 16 and just go ahead and get the best one and know it's going to last me for a really long time? Or are you at a place where you're like, okay, like I don't really, care if it lasts me forever. I just need something a little bit better. You could just upgrade to like what Micah said, the
R7 or R10.
R7 or R10.
But
so
then
yeah.
if you're trying to go real professional, I would do at least the R6 Mark II, or the R5, something like that.
So it's up to you. I mean, it really just depends on like where you are in your business. I mean, if me and Micah were giving you the answer, me and Micah have always never been afraid to invest in ourselves. So we're always kind of like, yep, go big or go home. Sometimes it bites us in the butt, but I would just go ahead and say like, it's worth it to invest in the R6 Mark II. I've literally loved it. And like, you can get a membership with Canon to always like have if like things break, because things will. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like my camera, the shutter or something, I don't even know what it was called. I don't even know. The shutter. I just say the shutter broke. And we did have to send it off, but we were part of like a membership, so it wasn't too expensive. But like I said, you definitely, I think it's just worth it to go ahead and get like a new camera. But yeah, that's what I would say. Hopefully that was helpful. Maybe I've convinced you to just like invest in yourself. It's always going to come back to you. It really will. Okay. Someone asked, would you host a content day? Yes, and we actually do. So me and my friend Emmy, she created a business called the Hopeless Romantic Society, and she started doing content days. And then, funny story, I decided to be an attendee at one of them back in December, and then it kind of turned into where we ended up starting doing them together. So we've hosted one already together. We have one coming up next week here in Charleston, and then we have one in April in Charleston. We have one in May in Charleston. We just launched the tickets for May yesterday, so I believe we still have some tickets open if you are interested. That one's gonna be really good. Some really cool shoot concepts, and we have Delaney from Pass, which is the online gallery platform that I use. She's gonna come and talk to us about like making passive income through print sales, and it's gonna be so good. And then we have one coming up in July that we haven't announced yet, as well as June. That one's in Oregon, so that one's gonna be really fun. I think we're announcing those next week, so definitely stay tuned. But yes, we do host content days, and they're so fun and so amazing. And it's cool because me and Emmy we have similar styles, but we do edit a little bit differently, and like sometimes the way we see things can be differently. And so it's nice because we each bring like specific strengths to the content day and like the way we teach. And yeah, it's just really awesome, and it's so fun. So definitely join. I'll try to link below the May ticket link as well if you're interested in looking at it. Last question that I got is tips on making like-minded friends in the photography industry. So yeah, this one can be a little tough. The photography industry can be a bit interesting when it comes to like making friends, because you hear all the time like community over competition, but it's really hard sometimes to still find the community and the people that like you really feel drawn to. I would say, and I'm still getting better at this because I don't know, sometimes when you work from home, it's so easy to just like recluse into your own house and just kind of like live your life. But I will say, I think the best thing is like make sure the people that you're following on Instagram like fill you in a way. I don't know. I feel like when I first got started, I was following like so many different types of photographers and like was influenced by so many different types of people. But the more that I have like just started to be more confident in myself, I've really tried to filter like who I follow, what I'm listening to, what I'm feeding myself into, because that can be really helpful in just like how you're kind of going about into your journey. And when you do find accounts like that, like be interactive. Like as much as I can, I try to respond to, all of you guys. Obviously, I know I've probably missed, some people because it is hard to, see all the messages and all the comments. But I don't know. I just feel like I try to interact as much as I can with you guys. So I would definitely like interact with people who you feel that, what am I trying to say, is a good fit for you on Insta or like social media. Like
What is your dream in regards to the photography community? Like, what do you want it?
like
Like, what would you want it to look like?
I just want people to feel safe to learn and like safe to figure this out, because it is hard to figure out this whole thing, right? Like you're running a business, you're learning your camera, you're learning how to work with people, you're learning how to take photos, you're learning how to work a wedding day. Like it's a lot to just like jump into. And I think I just want people to feel safe to like ask questions, and that's why again I want to respond to all of your questions as much as I can, because I want you guys to not feel like any question is dumb, because like trust me, like I'm the person that asks the dumb questions. Like if I go oops, sorry about that. If I go somewhere and I don't know a question, like I am the person asking the dumb question. Like I've always been that way, even in like school. And so I always just like love when people are like, oh my gosh, like no, like that's fine, like I got you, I'll answer you, versus kind of being scared to ask. Like that's the worst feeling, is being scared to ask questions when you are trying to learn as much as you can and kind of feeling like judged for asking it. So I just like, I want people to feel safe, and valued and seen, like wherever you are on your journey, because there's like, you're gonna get there. Like, I used to think like, what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I would never be doing this. Like, I was literally like, that felt so far away, and like now I'm here, like teaching people, which is kind of crazy. Um, so anyway, I think too is surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded, whether it's a photographer, whether it's a creative, whether it's a business person, because who you surround yourself with really determines like who you become. And not, obviously you are in control of your own life. And so I think sometimes I take that phrase with a grain of salt, because like, you can't have friends who aren't business, or you can't have friends who aren't entrepreneurs and like still hang out with them and still love them and be around them, but I also think too, like, you really have to be careful with like who you're letting influence you. And that is something I have to work on a lot of times, because there are times in my life where I can find myself being influenced too much, and then I get lost in my own wants and desires and my own dreams and my own style as a photographer, just because I'm looking around at too many other people. So I would say, yeah, like, go to content retreats, join, like, I don't even know if there's anything to join though. That's the thing. Like, I don't know. It's tough because we're all connected, but we may all live far away. Like, we don't just show up to a workspace at an office and like work and have coworkers, right? Like, we're all doing this in our own homes. We're all working by ourselves all the time. So it is hard. Like, I get it. It is really hard. I will say, the more that we've done these content days and retreats, like, we do meet people. But I also find that just like connecting on Instagram, like, there's so many friends I have on Instagram that I've never met in person, but just like through commenting, through DMing, through asking questions, through like, I don't know, I'm never someone to just like be afraid to ask the question, even if like I know I might not get a response. Like, I just feel like the more you try to build that community, the people who respond back to you, like, you'll be like, oh, okay, like, bet, like, that's cool. I could go to that person. And then you kind of find the people that you can go to and like ask questions. Like, I have people DM me all the time, and like I said, I'll even try to like voice respond, because it's like, I don't know, I just feel like the voice response too is like so much more intimate than like through like the texting. And that's just a great way to build trust and community with people as well. And even if like, something I'm trying to do more of too is like, when I see a photo that I really like I'm trying to comment, because I can be so just like subject to just scroll, and in my head I'm like, oh my god, that was beautiful, but I never say it. And so I've been trying more too, is like, when I see something that I like, I try to comment. Or if I see content that is really good, I'll try to be like, oh my gosh, like, I love this, like, this is so good. So that's a great way as well to build. Do you have any like tips on building?
I think you said it all.
Yeah. But it is hard. Like, it is hard out here, but I think all in all, just like, make sure you're following people that feel like you're connected to. Try to reach out to people as well, like, build that connection through interactions. Attend content days, attend retreats. Maybe like try to host something in your own city as well, like, if you want, like, maybe do like an editing pop-up day, which like, that could be fun. Like, that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Again, because like I said, I can just be so used to just being at home, because I like being home. But I'm trying to also work on getting myself out there more.
I just say everybody in this community should just encourage each other, because it's
Yeah.
like, it's something different, right? It's not nothing that I think anybody like really knew it can get to this point. You
Yeah.
know, thank God for like socials now help
Yeah, it is.
impact the whole photography community, and then advertisement, and then when you talk about media. So I just think,
But I also think too, like, if you kind of be the example that you want to be as well, like, like, share kindness, like,
yeah,
share positivity, like, whatever you want to get out of like the community, you kind of have to put it back in
mm-hmm.
as well. So yeah, those are all the questions that I got. If I missed anyone, like, comment below, let me know. Again, if you want to have any questions for the future, drop them below as well. Like I said, I'm going to try to do these like on a monthly basis as much as I can, just because I like this type of content as well. I like just being able to answer questions more in depth. on Instagram, I'll only get like a minute on the story. So sometimes I feel like I'm like rushing or not being able to actually fully explain myself, which you guys are probably like, this girl just goes in circles, because I do tend to talk in circles. So if you made it this far in the video, I really love you guys and appreciate you guys being here and listening to me talk and yap all the time. But yeah, that's it. Love you guys, and I will see you guys here soon.